I'm standing in my muddy front yard, water swirling around my boots, while Karen Whitmore, the HOA queen bee, is shrieking at me through the rain, her fancy blazer soaked to the bone. "You did this on purpose, Jake." And you know what? She wasn't wrong. 3 days before, she'd slapped me with a $2,500 fine for hoarding spring water. Yeah, you heard that right, and demanded I tear down my little backyard spring system. So, I did exactly what she wanted, opened the floodgates, and watched her precious HOA clubhouse turn into $1 million raft, floating away in the deluge. My name's Jake Thornton, and 6 months ago, I made the dumbest move of my life. I bought a scrappy 10-acre plot in the hills outside Asheville, Tennessee, thinking I'd found my slice of peace. Used to be a water specialist with the EPA, spent over a decade mapping streams, testing rivers, and chasing down polluters until I ratted out a shady chemical company dumping toxins in Ohio. Thought I was the good guy, but the system doesn't love a snitch. Got blackballed, pushed out at 37 with a payout just big enough to start over somewhere quiet. That's how I ended up with this rocky, dirt-cheap land nobody else wanted. The realtor, a twitchy gal named Sarah Jennings, practically begged me to take it, muttering about a motivated seller and no inspections needed. Should have known something was up. The land was a mess, steep, overgrown, the kind of place you'd lose a shoe trying to hike, but I loved it. It was mine, far from office politics and city noise. Then, 3 weeks in, while clearing a spot for a cabin, my buddy Mike, a local contractor, stopped his bulldozer and waved me over. "Jake, you see this?" he said, pointing at water seeping from the rocks like a tiny, crystal-clear fountain. "This ain't no puddle. Man, you've got a spring." I tasted it cold and clean, like it came straight from Eden. My EPA brain lit up limestone filtration, steady flow, no runoff murk. Tests came back saying it was purer than half the bottled stuff in stores. So I built around it a little pond to catch the flow, with a channel to let the extra water run downhill naturally. Got all my permits, county signed off, and for a few months I was living the dream, just me, my solar panels, a wood stove, and the best water in Tennessee. Then Karen showed up. It was a sticky June morning when her shiny Lexus SUV crawled up my dirt road, tires whining like they were allergic to gravel. She stepped out, all business-tailored suit, heels sinking into the mud, clutching a leather folder like it was a shield. "Mr. Thornton," she said, flashing a smile that didn't reach her eyes, "I'm Karen Whitmore, president of Crestview Estates HOA. We need to talk about your water situation." I leaned against my porch rail, already smelling trouble. "I'm not in your HOA," I said, keeping it calm. "My land's not even part of your fancy subdivision." Her smile tightened, like she was swallowing a lemon. "Water doesn't care about property lines, Jake. Your little setup's causing concerns downstream environmental impacts, you understand." She handed me a document, all official-looking with Crestview's logo, demanding an environmental assessment of my spring. It was pure nonsense, sprinkled with just enough buzzwords to scare someone who didn't know better. Here's the thing, I didn't know better. 15 years at the EPA teaches you how to spot a bureaucratic shakedown. Karen wasn't worried about the environment. She was fishing for control. I started digging, and boy, did I hit pay dirt. Karen wasn't just HOA royalty. She was neck-deep in a company called Blue Ridge Ventures, snapping up land around Crestview like a vulture circling roadkill. Public records showed her buying up plots dirt cheap, always after HOA complaints or compliance issues drove owners to sell. Then I found the kicker. Blue Ridge was planning a $50 million luxury estate called Crystal Springs, marketing exclusive access to pristine mountain water, my water. My spring was the golden goose, and Karen was trying to strong-arm me into giving it up. She didn't stop at paperwork. By July, I was getting daily visits from inspectors, guys in polos claiming to be from the county, eyeing my pond like it was hiding gold. Social media lit up with Crestview residents whispering about that hermit upstream messing with their water. One night, I caught a drone buzzing over my property, snapping pictures. Karen was playing hardball, and I was the only thing standing between her and a fortune. Then came the fine $2,500 for unauthorized water storage, with a letter ordering me to drain all artificial systems within 72 hours or face county enforcement. The letter was signed by some Deputy Director Carl Vance, except I called the county, and guess what? No such guy existed. Karen had forged it, seal and all. I could have fought her in court, but that's what she expected, tie me up in legal fees until I caved. Instead, I call my old EPA buddy, Laura Hensley, now a hotshot environmental lawyer. "Jake, this is straight-up fraud," she said, grinning over Zoom. "She's pretending to be the county. That's a federal crime. Let's play her game, but smarter." We drafted a response, polite as pie, loaded with water tests, permits, and a legal brief explaining why my spring was protected under federal law. Sent copies to the county, the state, even the EPA's regional office. Karen's next move was pure desperation. She doubled down with another letter, claiming emergency flood risks and demanding I drain everything immediately. Big mistake. See, a storm was rolling in 5 inches of rain, maybe more, forecast to hit in a few days. My pond was built to handle that, slow the flow, keep things safe downstream. Without it, Crestview's fancy drainage ditches more for show than function would drown. Laura saw the trap and laughed. "She's ordering you to flood her own development. Do it, Jake. Follow her orders to the letter." So I did. Set up cameras, notified the county, and when Karen showed up with a sheriff's deputy and a truck full of pumps, I was ready. "Deputy Collins," I said, handing him my folder of real county letters, "you might want to check her paperwork." The kid looked nervous, flipping through her forged documents, then mine. Karen's face went tight, but she pressed on, barking about environmental hazards. I just smiled. "Don't worry, MS. Whitmore, I'm complying starting now." I walked to my pond, pried up the barriers, and let the water run free, cameras rolling. Karen's eyes went wide. She knew what was coming, but couldn't back down without admitting her scam. The deputy was on his radio, confused, as a county inspector pulled up to document the mess. By Friday night, the storm hit like a freight train. Rain pounded my land, and with no barriers, my spring turned into a river, rushing straight for Crestview. By dawn, their $3 million clubhouse was underwater, its foundation cracked, fancy furniture floating like driftwood. 7 homes got hit, their pretty lawns now a swamp. The access road? Washed out. Total damage? Over $5 million. Karen tried to pin it on me, screaming about environmental terrorism to anyone who'd listen. But the county inspector, the deputy, and my cameras told a different story. I'd followed her orders she'd faked. The FBI and EPA swooped in by Monday, armed with my files. They raided Karen's office, her home, Blue Ridge's headquarters. Found emails, fake permits, even investor pitches promising exclusive water rights she didn't own. Tuesday morning, they cuffed her orange jumpsuit, no more fake smiles, and charged her with fraud, conspiracy, the works. Her $50 million dream? Dead. Investors sued, her company folded, and she's looking at years behind bars plus millions in fines. Crestview's residents kicked Karen out of the HOA, elected a new board, and get this, asked me to help redesign their drainage. Now their homes are flood-proof, and my spring's part of a community plan that actually works with nature. Me? I'm back to consulting, helping folks fight HOA bullies like Karen. Every morning, I sit on my porch, coffee in hand, listening to that spring bubble up, same as it has for centuries. It's protected now federal law, county partnership, the works. Karen thought she could bully me out of what's mine, but she forgot one thing. Water follows its own path, and so does justice. So what do you think? Was I wrong to let that flood rip? Or did Karen get what she deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear how you'd handle a power-hungry HOA trying to steal your land. Hit that like button if you're cheering for the little guy, and subscribe if you want to see more stories about sticking it to the system. Let's keep these conversations flowing.